Welcome to the Chronically Healthy Life Show. When you hear the word chronically, do you automatically associate it with chronic disease? We all do. It's been programmed right into us. But what if we flip that whole idea on its head? Let's discover how we can create chronic health in our bodies, our minds, our finances, our relationships, and of course, in our lives. So let's dive right on in. I'm Andy, and normally joining me is my life partner in all things Minna, but she's feeling a little off today. So I have my wonderful friend and co-host Christy joining me.
Hi, everybody. Andy, how you doing?
I'm doing great. It's a live show. Show must go on, right?
Absolutely. You know, we should say first that we are not doctors and we are only stating our opinions because,
Exactly.
that's yes. So, but today I thought it'd be fun to dive into a question that will tickle your brain and maybe even your funny bone.
Oh, sounds interesting, right?
Do you want to be normal or exceptional?
I love hearing this one. It's like when I bring that up to a lot of people, they give me the funny looks. And it's almost like, do you want a plain bagel or do you want a bagel with everything on it?
Exactly. So let's break it down a bit. Did you know that 95% of the population falls into the normal range of health? That's right, folks. 95%. It's like being the same as everyone else at the breakfast buffet, grabbing the regular plain toast.
It's interesting that we say that, but who's the remaining 5% then, right?
Right. That's the juicy part, the part where they're exceptional.
Exactly. The remaining 5% is the people that, I normally work with and that we try to get everybody into that area. And these are the folks that, who take their health into their own hands. It's almost like, a chef preparing the ultimate omelet.
Absolutely. But I'm wondering, Andy, what do you think makes this 5% exceptional?
I think it comes down to tracking the health metrics with, what I like to call functional optimal numbers rather than like the normal numbers. Like normal numbers is almost like the average score everyone can figure out on pop quiz, right? They range basically from the very sick to the very healthy in the population. So in my mind, it's like, who wants to be like everyone else? Who wants to be average, right?
Right. In school, that's a C. That's a 2.
Exactly. Asian fail for sure. Even a B would be an Asian fail.
Yes. So what do you think doctors do with this normal range?
The funny thing is, if you're in that normal and they have this range of numbers, and as soon as doctors see that you fall outside that range, they would start prescribing you some type of medication, right? The only problem is these medications, they're not dealing with the root cause, right? It's almost like putting a band-aid on a pipe that bursts and just continuously leaking.
Right? And we all know that works real well.
Exactly, right? You know what I'm saying? So if there's like pressure in the pipes, you band-aid one side, guess what? It's just gonna burst somewhere else, right? So same thing, medications, they have side effects, right? And it's funny, if you ever get drugs, they always have a little sheet of paper and you're supposed to read it. Right? You never read it, so you don't get into the side effects. But like a lot of times, like the cure may be actually worse than the symptoms.
Absolutely. The side effects. Oh yeah, I could go on all day about oh my gosh, that it's just ridiculous. They just fix symptoms anyway. Medications very rarely actually cure a disease, with the possible exception of antibiotics if you if you need them for something. But most of the time, I don't really see them doing a whole lot. And so is it true that to really be exceptional, I would think then you need a narrower optimal range in your blood panels. Not so broad, not the C range, but the A range.
Exactly. And, when it comes into the functional optimal range, that's where functional doctors look at. That's where functional nutrition coaches like me look at. And, here we are, we're looking at all these numbers and we start piecing together a puzzle. So rather than saying, well, you got this symptom, we're trying to figure out by looking at all these functional numbers, what's causing the symptom? Like what is the root cause? Right. And one of the things that I think I don't like to say doctors get it wrong, but I like to say that one of the things that a lot of people get mistreated for in particular is cholesterol.
Mm. Yes, I've heard that it's that the basic lipids test is all you get, and they just see a high LDL, and it's like boom, medication.
Exactly. It's funny because, people will talk about HDL, which is the high density lipoprotein, which is supposed to be the good protein, right? And then they have the LDL, which is supposed to be the crappy or shitty. Well, I don't know if I can say shitty on TV, but the bad, the bad cholesterol, right? But the funny thing is, they're prescribing, they're prescribing statins for this to lower your cholesterol overall, right? And not all LDL is bad, right? It's really all about the particle size and the particle number, right? You want these large, fluffy cholesterol particles, not these small ones that can actually cause damage to the arteries.
Yeah, it's like having the right pillow.
Yes.
The wrong pillow can make you all, oh, my neck, but the right pillow is all fluffy and supports your neck and head. Yeah.
It is so true. And, the funny thing is, like, they did a study on centurions, like the people that are in the blue zones that live over 100. And a lot of them have very high LDL numbers, which is supposed to be the bad LDL. But if you look into it, they have the large, fluffy LDL, which could be a sign for better health. Like, once again, I'm not a doctor. This is just what we're seeing in studies, right?
Yes. And then this ridiculous thing about cutting out all fats. That really irritates me. It's like people fats are one of the three, carbs, fats, and proteins are one of the three main building blocks.
Exactly. And, especially they tell you not to take saturated fats, right? Saturated fats are bad. And, the funny thing is, the small particle size for the LDL, they're caused not really by fats in general. They're actually caused by your sugar intake, right? So here they should be monitoring your blood glucose, seeing why is that high? And because that is an indirect way of raising your cholesterol. Right. And then, of course, you have all the crappy, all the crappy fats that come from like vegetable oil, trans fats that most restaurants and takeouts use. And guess what? Most people don't cook at home. They're eating out. So here you are. You can be eating something very healthy, but if they're prepared with bad fat, it's still going to raise your bad cholesterol, right?
Right. Yeah, I just, add an avocado to that salad when you're at the restaurant, guys. That right there could help you a lot, So
Exactly. So, I think instead of statins, I think we should just, work together to find out what's causing, you to have these bad small cholesterol and work together, design holistically something to help you with drugs, right? I think that's really important.
Absolutely. Let's choose exceptional, you guys. Let's be those nerdy A students.
Exactly. No more Asian fails. Let's just get those, nerdy A. Let's stay exceptional, and just remember, normal is just so overrated, right? But we'll be right back with our special guest, Cindy Lagar, right after our biohacking tip of the week. Strap in, folks. We're about to take a joyride through the fountain of youth. It's Annie Nam from Chronically Healthy Life. Ever wonder why some folks seem to age like fine wine, while others are more like a molded cheese that's been forgotten in the back of the fridge. It's like they got the energy of a Duracell bunny on Red Bull, while the rest of us are running on fumes. Now, you might think hitting the gym and munching on kale is the ticket to eternal youth, but sometimes it feels more like we're just speeding up the aging process. Picture this, you're on the treadmill, feeling like $1,000,000, and suddenly you look down and realize your knees sound like a bag of popcorn in the microwave. Not exactly the sound of youth, am I right? But fear not, my friends, because here's the kicker. It's not just about the number of candles on your birthday cake. It's all about those sneaky little stem cells playing hide and seek inside your body. At the age of 20, you got more of these bad boys than you can shake a stick at. But fast forward a few decades, and they're scarce as a parking spot in downtown Manhattan. But guess what? We got a secret weapon up our sleeves. Phototherapy patch technology without drugs. That's right, folks. With our stem cell activation patches, you can hit the rewind button on aging faster than you can say reverse aging. So if you're ready to reclaim your youth, look younger, feel stronger, and heal faster than a superhero with a side of espresso, then it's time to hop on board the rejuvenation train. Get your stem cell activation patches now at lifewave.com/chronically healthy life. And let's make aging look like yesterday's news. It's not anti-aging, it's reverse aging, baby. Hey there, fellow biohackers. It's Andy Nam, and on this week's biohacking episode, we're talking all about the mighty pomegranate. Now, these little red gems are the superheroes of the fruit world. And today, we're diving into why you should stock up on them when they're in season and go all out organic. First off, let's talk about the aesthetic of the pomegranate. It's like nature's own glitter bomb. You just crack one open and bam, you got a cascade of juicy, ruby red seeds that look like they're straight out of a fairy tale. But we're not just here for the looks. These bad boys are packed with antioxidants, they're packed with vitamins, and all the good stuff your body craves. Now, you might be wondering, Andy, why do you always stress about buying organic? Well, let me break it down to you. Picture this. Non-organic fruits are like those friends who never return your texts. They are unreliable and potentially toxic. While organic pomegranates, on the other hand, are the dependable BFFs of the fruit world. They are free from harmful pesticides like paraquat. Speaking of which, did you know that the popular producers of palm juice are big fans of this toxic weed killer paraquat? Yep, they are the biggest producers in California for these things. And this same stuff is banned in over 60 countries. Crazy, right? Paraquat's been linked to serious health diseases like Parkinson's disease and various cancers. The thought of that chemical in your juice is enough to make anyone squirm, right? So what's a health conscious biohacker to do? Simply make your own juice. So here's my go-to hack. When pomegranates are in season, I buy them in organic. I knock out all the kernels, do this underwater to provide red juice explosion in your kitchen like what I just did. And then you freeze them, right? You can see this. This is frozen. And if you look at this, this was frozen in 22. When you need a juice fix, just blend these frozen seeds and voila! Fresh organic pomegranate juice that's healthier and tastier than anything that's store-bought, especially palm juice. Plus, making your own juice is like being your own health superhero. You get to control what goes into your body, and you can sip with confidence knowing you're not ingesting any sketchy chemicals or pesticides that could be causing cancer, Parkinson's, things like that. So next time you're at the store, make sure to go organic, get creative, and unleash the the power of the pomegranate. Stay healthy, stay organic, and keep on biohacking. We'll see you next time.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Chronically Healthy Life Show. This week, I would like to have you meet Cindy, who is a not so typical wellness mindset coach who creates powerful mind shifts for high achievers seeking real, sustainable results. Her personalized approach addresses your blind spots, your limiting beliefs, nutrition, movement, and sleep to help you achieve your health and life goals. She is dedicated to guiding you through the process of transforming your negative mind shit. Yes, I said that, into positive mind shifts that lead to success. I love that. Welcome, Cindy.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
I love that. Your mind shit to a mind shift. That is brilliant.
Right. I've always think, are we swearing on this podcast? Are we
We are now.
taking your mind bleep to powerful mind shifts?
So it's really true though. I mean, really everything starts with that mind shift. It's really true. So, well, tell us a little bit about how you came to be this power coach.
Well, I originally started out as a high-risk youth counselor. I did that for about 20 years. And then I got into the wonderful, crazy, outrageous world of bodybuilding. And I stopped being a counselor and I opened up a fitness center, a gym, I was involved with a crazy partner who we went on a wild, crazy ride. And by crazy, I mean a drug addicted bodybuilder. Yeah. So it was very crazy. And I was a bodybuilder for about 20 years. And later on in my career, I got into holistic nutrition, wellness. I coined the phrase, it's not the muscle and fitness industry, it's the muscle and fiction industry, because it has nothing to do with health, wellness, fitness, and everything to do with aesthetics. And bodybuilding, as a professional bodybuilder, it really lends itself to body dysmorphia and all kinds of weird shit that we do, eating disorders and that kind of stuff. And it really lends itself well to not thinking you're worthy or deserving, or that you believe everything has to be hard and you have to suffer for it. So
That's it. I mean, that's a prevalent belief. Like, it really is. It's like, well, you have to work hard for your money. You have to work hard for anything that's worth doing is worth doing well. And you have to work hard at it. And they program you that in school too.
That's exactly right. And so as time went on, I said I got into holistic nutrition. I started training people, became a nutrition coach, and I could get people to lose the weight. And for me, I always had to have another show date in order to stay on the wagon, so to speak. Otherwise, I would go off the rails. And I could get my clients to lose the weight, but I didn't have the magic keys to help them to keep it off, right? We could always get it off. We just couldn't. It always came back. And I always had to have another show. In the meantime, out of all this, I got divorced. It was crazy. I started seeing somebody new. This person got in a crazy car accident. And that was my first introduction to the medical system and how the medical system worked. His best friend died. He almost died. They said his neck was broke, his back, tinnitus. It was absolutely insane. And I got kicked out of every doctor's office that we went to because I'm like, there had to be a better way than drugs, because they just wanted to drug him. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like, how do we heal him? And that sent me on a huge adventure about the medical system, nutrition, healing, and the mind.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And the mind was the biggest driver of everything. And what I discovered is there's 4 pillars that we need for health.
Mm-hmm.
Food is information. You got to get a hold of your BS, your belief system. You have to understand that you need to least mode as much as you beast mode, mindful movement. And you need to understand that the body needs sleep and rest and recovery.
Mm-hmm. Well, that makes complete sense to me, because everything starts that's one thing I think, if we do nothing else with this show, it's like, you guys know it, you can fix yourself. It's your body, and you can do it. It's your body. You don't have to rely on all these fiction to to help you.
Right?
But
Yeah.
it seems like we have to look at ourselves. We have to look at the real problem. Just like medications usually cover up symptoms rather than healing, most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time. It doesn't. It's like with us, if we're trying to heal something, we have to look, we have to dig, we have to find out what's really driving it.
Right. We're getting to the root cause. Absolutely, Christy, 100%. And what I've discovered is we've got to go down those 4 pillars and find out like what's cracked in the foundation, because those are foundational. Food is information. Everything that you ingest is sending messages to your DNA how to express itself. And it's one of 2 things. It's expressing health and wellness, or sickness and dis-ease, where your body's not happy. There is no in between.
Right. So if you're expressing dis-ease, I've always liked that. Then the question isn't, what doctor do I go to and what drugs do I take? The question is, what is this trying to tell me?
Exactly. And your body will whisper and whisper and whisper to you. And you're like, oh, my joints are sore. Oh, I'm kind of foggy. Oh, I'm kind of depressed. Oh, I'm cranky. And then your body starts yelling and you're like, oh, my joints are sore. And oh, I got this weird pain and I can't figure out what's going on. And then your body starts screaming.
Yeah.
So we need to listen when it is whispering.
Yes.
Why are my joints sore? Why do I feel depressed? Why am I carrying this extra weight around? And that's the misconception for people too, Christy, is people think if I lose the weight, I'll get healthy, when the actual opposite is true. When you start to get healthy, your body will naturally let go and release the weight.
That makes sense. Food is information, and our body talks to us. So one of the things, we talk a lot about eating organic food and this kind of thing, but notice when you eat certain things, how you feel. Because like for me, I have a very big problem with gluten sensitivity, which I actually think is a GMO problem. And because when I've been in countries where they don't allow GMOs, I can eat whatever I can eat. And here I can't. So,
Right.
But it started with me noticing that I was in pain. And then realizing when I eliminated those foods, the pain went away. So that was my body communicating to me, and the food communicating to me, don't eat this.
And you're so, like, I know at the beginning you guys were talking about exceptional, and that's the exception to the rule, Christy, is people are not aware, and they're so desensitized to what their body's telling them. We're so uncomfortable, but you're comfortable being so uncomfortable, you think that that's normal. Until it's not anymore. And then you're like, I ate this piece of bread and I feel good. Like, what's happened? Because it doesn't have, or I ate these oats and I feel good because it doesn't have the glyphosate and it doesn't have all the crap on it that we have here in this country.
Right. I was a teacher for 30 years, and I would talk to the kids about this. And I would say, well, you guys, like when you go to McDonald's, I mean, how do you feel after you eat that McDonald's? And I just get them to talk to me, and they started connecting it. on their own. Like, it's always fun, but then I don't feel good, or whatever they would say. And I'm like, think about that for a while, you guys.
I think McDonald's lies. It is a sad meal. It's not a happy meal. It's a sad meal because you can't crap after.
Yeah. And I understand the convenience, and I know they market for convenience for overworked moms, but yeah, it's rough. It's rough.
Right.
Well, what the second pillar then is your belief system. So then we're getting in, there's a lot of the belief system there that if it's called food, then it's actually food.
Right.
It's not.
It's not. Yeah.
Because it's not nourishing you.
It's not nourishing you, right? It's most things that people are eating that are processed and out there, they're calorie dense and they're nutrient poor, right? And so there's a lot of things, I'm craving this, I'm craving that. You're craving because you're missing nutrients, and the body's super smart and it's saying, hey, we need some of this stuff. And you're like, oh, well, I need some chips, I need some popcorn, I need some salt, and I need some sodium. And like, no, you need minerals, you need, right? Yeah.
Electrolytes. Yeah.
Electrolytes. Yeah. Exactly. You don't need all the chemicals that are on food. And yeah, the next thing is so our belief system, right? Our BS system. So the craziest thing, and that's why I started to learn different modalities like Psyche and emotion code and mind shifting, because I learned that from in utero, so the last trimester to about 7, we're in what's called theta brainwave. And we're literally just being downloaded with programs about who we are, what we deserve, how the world works, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And we don't have any critical thinking skills yet. So whatever is happening to us, we're creating all of these meanings because our brains are like meaning-making machines. Everything is about keeping us safe, right? So if we're being downloaded with the messages, I don't deserve, I'm not worthy, there's that belief again, it has to be hard. If I don't work hard, I don't deserve, all of those kinds of things. So we're downloaded with this program. And as the program plays, we think that we are making decisions, but 95% of our lives is run on this subconscious programming. 95%, 5% is conscious. When I learned that, I was like, oh my God, I got some problems here. Like, right? And what you believe, like, look at your life. That is evidence of what you believe. If you're not at the weight you want, if you're not in the relationship you want, if you don't make the money that you want, if your body's not the shape that it wants to be or your health, you have a program running against what you consciously think you want. And one of the things that I discovered is I'm a hard worker. I'm very driven. My clients were, high performance, super driven. And we spend a lot of time overriding that program, right? So making it super hard, but it doesn't have to be that hard once you understand that the program's playing and you can reprogram.
Yes. The brain is literally a computer.
It's
an automatic computer. We can reprogram. Right. Yeah.
100%. Yeah. 100%.
It has to start with awareness, because if you're not aware that program is running, you can't really do something about it if you're not aware.
Right. So we've got all these blind spots, and that's what happens is we've got the blind spots. We don't know what we don't know. We don't know. Right. So it's really hard to change things when you don't even know what the problem is. And what I found is people go chasing the false problems. Oh, if I just do this diet. Oh, if I just do this workout. Oh, if I just take this supplement. When it's really, I've discovered most times it's none of those things. It's a program playing that maybe I don't deserve, I'm not worthy, it's not safe. And what I do, so I do muscle testing. And I do something called Psyche, so psychological kinesiology. And we're talking to subconscious mind. And we test and is it safe and okay for you to release the weight? And 99% of the time, no, it's not. Mm-hmm. Right? So yeah. How do we release the weight if it's not actually safe and okay for you to do that? Mm-hmm. You end up fighting yourself. You end up fighting that program, and you get to a certain point. And I've seen people lose 20, 30, 40, 50 pounds. And then a year later, they've gained 20, 30, 40, 50 pounds again, much to their dismay, because they're like, I'm doing all the right stuff. I don't know what happens. And what happened is that program starts to play. I'm not worthy. I don't deserve. It's not safe and okay for me to release this weight. And there's a whole bunch of other things that can go into that. Lots of people, trauma is a big word that's thrown around a lot these days. And one person's trauma doesn't look like someone else's trauma. What I think is trauma, some of the crazy things that have happened to me in my life, some people would just be like, oh my God, what? Like, huh? And other people, something might have happened when they were 5 and their mom took away their yogurt cup. And then, now they're traumatized. We don't know exactly what the trauma is, but there's something.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. There's
right.
We've talked, yeah. And it could, I think, back to the food, because I think it's all connected. It could be food trauma. If you're eating something you're allergic to and you don't even know it, you could be having food trauma that's causing more trauma because you're sick all the time and you don't know why.
Right. And that's exactly right. There's all of these things. They all play a part and they all connect together. Right. So yeah, it could be like, are you have to be a good little girl and boy and finish everything on your plate. Otherwise you're not a good little girl and boy. Like, are you running that program? Mm-hmm. It's possible. I found that program in some people and it's like, oh, no wonder. Right.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yes. And yes, I don't want to hear that you don't feel good, just eat it anyway, Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And there could be things like, this is how you got mom's attention. And if you were sick, then mom gave you ice cream. And so there's a whole other bunch of things that can play into that. Right. And food sometimes can be like a trigger, like it maybe is an emotional memory is triggered by the food. So the body causes inflammation, but you're not aware of it. Like, there's a lot of rabbit holes we can go down.
Yeah. And those blind spots are in all of us. There's no getting around it. We have to dig. We have to be willing to look and dig them.
And 100%, Christine, that's the first thing, is people need to be willing. And I say, look at your life. And if you are not achieving the things that you want, there's something that you're missing. And you're inside the box. You cannot see outside the box. Otherwise, you would have figured it out by now. And that's why I say we need coaches. We need people outside of the box to say, hey, did you think, here's what I'm seeing, and I'm outside of the box, and I can see your blind spot, but you can't see your blind spot.
Right.
Here's where you might want to look. Here's where you might want to start looking.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
That's so important. Well, let's move on to mindful movement. I love that. That's a great phrase because, back in the day, I was an athlete, not a professional, but in high school and college, I was a swimmer. And those workouts at the time, 4 hours a day in the pool and then the time in the gym, because you're an athlete and you're training and you're competing, right? I could not do that workout now at all. I couldn't do it where I am now, but I also don't want to. Right. And I get a lot more benefit out of, I swim because I love it, but I get a lot more benefit out of it when I relax and I'm not counting my laps and, I've hit 100 laps. Okay, keep going. I promised myself I would do 50 more. If I just swim until I feel like getting out, I do so much better because my body's telling me I'm a little tired today. I think I'm going to get out. And then the next day I can swim 3 times as long.
Right. Yeah.
So is that what mindful movement is? Or is
it
more?
It's more than that too. It's more than that too, but I love that you still swim. And I love that you've made the connection that you don't want to do the things that is stressing you out.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So mindful movement is about moving with intention and understanding, like, why are we doing what we're doing? Like, what is the purpose that we're doing it for? And I'm all about muscle mass and longevity, keeping our muscle on us. And so I'm all about strength training. Strength training and functional training. Functional training so you can pick up your groceries, pick up your kids, put your things away, reach up. And my biggest thing is I want to be able to wipe my own butt when I'm 98 years old. And muscle is the organ of longevity. Muscle keeps us young. Muscle is very, it's thermogenic tissue. It's very active. Ligaments and tendons, there's not a lot of blood supply. So we need to keep that muscle on our body so that we age well, so we can still do all kinds of things. When I say mindful movement, especially as we get older into our 40s, 50s, 60s, we want to make sure that we're not doing things to stress our body out. And this is where the disconnect for people these days is, especially when they're wanting to lose weight. They think if I just go crazy at the gym and I do all this cardio, I'm going to lose the weight. And newsflash, if you've been a chronic dieter and you've got layers and layers and layers and layers and layers of dieting and layers and layers and layers of damage in your metabolism and layers and layers and layers in your thinking, adding that crazy workout is just going to stress you out even more. And so your body's just going to stay up here. And I say it's revving 9 grand. It's like super inflamed. And there's no space to create cortisol. There's no space to create that, to put your foot on the gas, right? Because you've got all of these layers and layers and layers of damage. So until you create some space and bring down that inflammation, which means looking at what are we eating? Are we causing inflammation? What are we thinking? Are we stressing our bodies out? Until we create some space and some room in our physiology to jack it back up with a workout, we shouldn't be doing crazy workouts. Much to the chagrin of whatever Instagram or those people are telling you, because it's not working. And I mean, how many people do we know? I'm on a diet. I'm doing this. I'm doing the P90X. I'm jumping around. I'm doing all this stuff and I'm not losing a pound. In fact, I feel worse. Well, that's why, because your body is just so inflamed and so stressed out that there's no room. There's no room to add on these extra workouts. There's no room to add on the craziness. So it looks like, do I need to meditate? Do I need to do some stretching? Do I just need to do some slow strength training? Do I need to go for a swim? What do I need to do to bring my body down?
Yeah. Or take walks. That is I love that. Take out in nature where you can just breathe.
Right. Yeah. And 100%. Chrissy, I'm all for people going out in nature because we are so disconnected from ourselves. We are so disconnected from our bodies. We are so disconnected from nature. We need to get outside into the sun, our vitamin D. Like, we need the sun. We need to be in the trees. We need to be in the grass. Take your freaking shoes off. Touch the earth.
Yeah. Be real.
Right? Yeah.
Well, so that leads to your fourth pillar, which is sleep. And that's a biggie because people are under so much pressure, setting their alarms, getting up early, rushing. And, and it's like, they're not sleeping. They're not sleeping enough.
Right. And again, it all plays into that too. And I used to say, I'll sleep when I'm dead. I got too much shit to do. I'll sleep when I'm dead. And then learning about sleep and learning about, like, when you're sleeping, we actually go through a wash cycle. Your brain goes through a wash cycle. Beta amyloid plaque, it's called, gets washed out. So beta amyloid plaque is something that we find in Alzheimer's and dementia. So if you're not sleeping, you're getting this buildup. The other thing that happens is the more we can sleep and recover and allow our body to calm down, we start to lose weight. If we don't change anything else for people and we can get them to sleep, they start to lose weight, right? The body needs rest and recovery. People think that when they're doing fitness, that's when they're actually gaining the benefits of fitness. And it's not. We gain the benefits in the recovery when the body is doing all its processes and putting things back together. And that's when we sleep. And if we don't sleep, we get cranky and hangry and all of those kinds of things. And we make bad choices, right? It just all goes hand in hand. And in this day and age, we're so bombarded with digital everything. Everybody's got screen time. If we're not on the computer, we're on our phones. And if we're not on our phones, we're on the freaking iPad. If we're not on the iPad, you're watching TV. And it's just, we're bombarded with these artificial lights. So we definitely need some digital detox to help us sleep as well.
Oh yeah. I sleep with one of those sleep silk masks over my eyes because the blackout makes my sleep has changed dramatically just by wearing that because,
Right.
It's quiet, it's dark as I can get it, but there's still light outside. Even with
Right.
everything closed, so it gives you that like real darkness, and it just shuts down that. I'll go to sleep, I'll pull down that mask, and I know I go to sleep really fast.
Right. So, and that's the cool thing too, because you created a ritual. Then you've got a ritual, and your body's starting to understand when this is happening. The mask goes on. Now we're starting to go to sleep.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. The sound, I can't control. I can control the sound in my environment, but if outside sound comes in, oh well. But
Right.
But that's huge. I take care of my mom. She's 85 and she's been recovering so beautifully. And I've noticed I started adding in some stuff for her. I got her off all of her meds. She's out of heart failure. We did it all naturally. She's off all meds. And because she's off meds now, I can give her some of the like lemon balm and those kinds of things that calm the nervous system. And she's been sleeping better. And
Right.
noticed that she's kind of made a little leap forward in her, she's now more active. She's doing more. She's wanting, she says to me, when are we going on I took her to Cancun for her birthday. And when are we going on a trip again? And so it's really, really good to see that her brightening up. And well, we eat pretty well. You can always improve, but the sleep is the thing for her.
Sleep, right? And just being like off of all the medications, right? So this, I don't have to tell you, preaching to the choir, but all those medications are toxic to our liver, causing inflammation in our bodies. And so when we're inflamed, it's just such a stress and it's hard to sleep, right? And when we're on medications, we're lacking, it's depleting our body of things, minerals. One of the things that I get my clients to take is magnesium bisglycinate, right? Calms down the nervous system, helps you sleep better.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. That's very cool.
Yeah. The thing that I think that I'm going to really focus on is my BS system, because I'm now like, I'm going to dig out these programs that are running I've had an awareness that something's going on, but I haven't been able to, but now I'm like, you confirmed it. So
right. Yeah. And it's one of the big things that I've tested people for. It's like, is it safe and okay? Is it safe and okay for me to lose the weight? Is it safe and okay for me to change?
Mm-hmm.
Do I deeply appreciate and accept myself? Those are big things. And if we don't, we are making decisions in our life that, if you don't deeply appreciate and accept yourself, then I'm pretty sure you're not going to take the best care of yourself.
Exactly. It's so true. The safety thing. I mean, for me, I'm sure for many people, if you were raised in any kind of an abusive environment, you're going to be you were unsafe as a child. So that is going to be there. And that is something that really has to be addressed. This is,
we run the program. And what I do, Christy, is I help people to reprogram. We literally put the right and left hemispheres back together and reprogram the belief that you want to have that's going to serve you.
That's fair. Well, how can our audience, how can we reach you? How do we find you?
You can find me on my website, cindylaguerre.com. You can find me on Facebook just under Cindy Laguerre, and you can find me on Instagram just under Cindy Laguerre. Yeah. And in my, it's a link tree, it's called. You definitely, if you want to chat more, you can set up an appointment with me and just have a chat and just let's talk about, see if I can help you find some blind spots right now.
Ooh. That is a great, thank you for that invitation. I'm definitely gonna have a one-on-one with you. That would be awesome.
I would love to. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Cindy. You are a fabulous guest. Well,
thank you.
I've learned so much. I'm sure everybody has.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, everybody stay tuned. Coming up is Kids Corner. Hey, everyone. For this episode of Kids Corner, we're going to talk about summer travel with kids. Number one, you want to make sure that your kids have things to do, whether you're in a car or on a plane or on a train or on a boat, wherever you are, kids need to be occupied. So if you're in a place that's confined, like a plane or a car, you want to provide your kids with lots of activities to keep them occupied. That can be in the form of a backpack filled with puzzles, games, the travel size games, books that they can read while you're traveling. And you might also want to lift the restrictions a little bit on screen time by downloading some movies or even a video game onto an iPad so that they're occupied and not, trying to kill each other in the back seat. You may notice that I've had that experience. So the most effective way to travel with kids is to plan ahead, especially if your trip is going to be a long one. Like, for example, if you're flying from California to Hawaii, that's a 5 or 6 hour flight. That's pretty long and that's pretty rough stretch for kids. So plan ahead and you will be so glad that you did. Okay, have a happy summer. Ciao.
Hello, we are Mutts and Meows Rescue, a 501c3 nonprofit, foster-based, no-kill group. Mutts and Meows Rescue pulls dogs and cats from surrounding shelters in the greater Houston area. We even pick up dogs and cats abandoned on the streets. Mutts and Meows Rescue is foster-based and rely on your donations to keep rescuing. To know more about us is to know more about our furry friends and help them find their forever homes. Come visit us at Mutts and Meows Rescue on Facebook today and decide how you can make a difference.
Welcome back to the Chronically Healthy Life. I love Cindy's segment today. We share so much in common. When she was telling me about her boyfriend's car accident, that was almost like deja vu that happened to me, and the journey of the 25 years I suffered on my medical journey, and with doctors telling me that, well, life sucks. It's only going to get worse. Live it up and live with it, and it's only going to get worse. And that's what started my journey to where I am today. And listening to her journey, her boyfriend, her what did she call it? Bodybuilding and fitness.
It was nutrition and fiction.
Fiction, yeah. I love that. Because it is, so many people think that is all about, they must be so fit. And just like what she says, I know a lot of friends are bodybuilders and they're literally rotting from the inside out, right? They look great on the outside, but inside they got PCOS, they have heart problems, they have hormone problems. I got so many people getting testosterone shots just to get ripped up. And, it's crazy what they're willing to do to get that look, thinking that's what is healthy, right? So no, she gave us so many golden nuggets today. It was pretty awesome.
She did. Well, we talk a lot about nutrition on the show, but the belief system, the BS meter, that was huge because really that just makes so much sense to me that our beliefs are running the programs, and if we're not aware of them, and then sometimes have you ever looked at someone and thought, why do they keep doing that same mistake over and over again? Don't they ever learn? Kind of makes sense. It's like, no, maybe they're not even aware that they're doing it.
That is so true. I'm going to have to, touch base with her and learn some of that because, where she said that 90% of the people aren't ready to mentally lose that weight to get better, even though they're telling themselves they mentally aren't. And that's huge. A lot of people may not realize that. And until you get past that BS, that belief system, nothing's going to change, right? Or you may lose it and gain it all back and some, like she was mentioning, right? So, I think that is, the mind shift is so important for a lot of people that's having these challenges. And it's like, I don't understand. Is it genetics? Is it, is it the food I'm eating? Is it not enough exercise? I love what she's talking about exercise. We totally share that. I get so many clients that's always saying, Andy, we're not working out hard enough. Let's work out every day. And I'm trying to explain to them, look, we need a short, we need it functional. I just want you to be able to pick up groceries, get off your chairs. Like, I've been working with someone just to do one-legged squats to get off their sofa. And they said, why do I need that? I said, because you want to be able to get off your sofa when you get older, right? And it's sort of crazy that they don't understand these things. So I can't do it. The sofa's too low. I said, well, look, if you can't do it in your 50s, you're not going to be able to do it in your 60s, right? So let's strengthen you now in that functional movement so you can do it, because there should be no reason you can't.
Exactly. You inspired my mom too, because I got her a lift chair for back when she was really sick, but she doesn't use it. She will not let that chair lift her up. She does it herself. She's determined, and that's because you can tell a little chat with her.
Yeah, thank you so much. Right. Yeah, I'm hoping we can have Cindy back for another segment, because it sounds like she's got so much more to share, and we'll touch base over there because there's just so much information out there. And I love how she was talking about, don't follow TikTok, don't follow Google, right? Because a lot of that is just, it might be old information, right? It might have been true at some point, right? But, you have to sort of figure out what you need to do for longevity, not just to look good at that point in time.
Right. And we don't know what's being censored either. So
exactly.
We got to go with listen to your body.
Yeah.
Your body will not.
So next week, Minna and I, we're going to Vancouver. We're visiting family. We're celebrating our parents' birthdays. So, we're going to have a rerun next week. So, a little bit of a little rest period for you. But yeah, we're going to figure it out, ask the fans which is the favorite episode, and do a replay next week. And for everyone that's watching us tonight, join us here on Fridays at 7 p.m. CST. You can watch past episodes at watch.e360tv.com in the Vitality Network. And, and of course, you can follow us on YouTube, right? At Chronically Healthy Life, easy peasy to remember. And, if you'd like to know more about what we do, how we can help you live a chronically healthy life, of course, you can visit us on our website or, book a call. I would love to hear from you guys, right? We're always looking for comments, questions, and suggestions about our show, right? Send your comments to, Facebook, Chronically Healthy Life, or email us at anything@Chronically Healthy Life. Thank you for being my co-host today, Christy.
Always.
Appreciates it. Like I said, the show needs to go on, and we'll see everyone next week.
Ciao, everybody.
Bye-bye.